Denver 7 starts with a latest on a story that broke early this morning. A deadly officer-involved shooting in Federal Heights.
This whole thing started with a call for help. A woman telling police she feared for her life and her daughter's life. Denver 7's Amanda Del Castillo is live out there this afternoon. Amanda, what are witnesses saying?
Well, witnesses are telling us their concern, and we'll hear that in just a few moments. But that call you guys mentioned, that came in at around 10 last night. Shortly after, police sprang into action, arriving here at the Tuscan Heights apartment complex before the suspect ever got here. But we want to get you to some earlier footage of the suspect's vehicle. Now, you can see bullet holes on the windshield of the car. When the suspect pulled into this lot around 1:30 this morning, police tell us 3 others were in the car with him. Officers say they noticed the suspect had a handgun, and they reportedly told him to drop the weapon. When he didn't comply, an officer fired.
I'm glad that the officers handled it in the way that they did. They were very professional. One officer shot instead of all, because I know a lot of officer-involved shootings, there's more than one officer that shoots. They handled themselves in the way I would expect them to handle it if they were coming to protect me.
Now, police say 2 other suspects were arrested. A 4th is at large. Neighbors tell us that suspect actually jumped over a nearby fence and got away. So that's where their concern lies with where is this last suspect. I'm live here at Federal Heights. Amanda Del Castillo, Denver 7.
This is the 5th fatal officer-involved shooting in the metro and region since last Friday. First, an armed carjacking in Littleton led to a chase and shootout in Denver early Friday morning. A woman was killed. Then 2 men died Friday night in 2 separate officer-involved shootings, one in Westminster and the other in Larimer County. Saturday night, a police officer shot and killed a 19-year-old near CSU in Fort Collins. We've also tracked 9 officer-involved shootings in Colorado since the beginning of June.
All right, you better grab those bathing suits and, of course, some water, because it is hot out there. It is summer in Colorado. Katie's here now with a look at the hot temps on our way. How's it looking out there, Katie?
It's, like you said, hot.
Good for sunning, yeah.
Only so many adjectives we could use, right?
Exactly. Toasty, scorching. We're going to be in the mid-90s by this afternoon. And already outside, it is 88 degrees downtown, near 90 out at the airport. Winds relatively calm from the southeast, ushering in some of that warmer air. And our UV index, just make sure you have sunscreen on if you're heading out the door soon. It's in the extreme level today. We'll be at 95 by about 5 o'clock. Sunset tonight at 8:30. As we head throughout the morning hours and into the afternoon, by lunchtime we'll be in the low 90s up and down the I-25 corridor into Boulder near 90. Fort Collins, we'll see the winds pick up slightly, especially later on this afternoon from the southeast. And then by 5 o'clock, increasing cloud coverage in some of our mountains. Slight chance for an isolated storm or 2, mainly just gusty winds and lightning associated with any of those. The Denver metro area and plains will stay dry today and tomorrow, and then once again we're looking at a really big heat up for our Thursday. Now things will calm down in terms of our temperatures for Friday and Saturday. We'll take a look at your extended forecast coming up in just a few, Jason, but yeah, it's downright warm outside right now.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I feel bad for all the folks that don't have air conditioning in their cars, especially because it gets so hot. Right now I'm starting to see traffic move a little bit better across downtown. One of the few areas where we have some traffic congestion. It has been a little bit lighter than normal for most of us. We've had some traffic congestion here today, but most of it's been lighter than normal. We did have a crash right near Spear. All lanes are open, but you saw some of that traffic jamming there. We're still looking at about, well, 0 minutes now. It's going into downtown Denver. Anyway, that's one of the few traffic jams. There's also one up in the high country. I'll show you that one coming up in just a little bit.
0 minutes. I like that. All right. A petition will be soon sitting on Governor Hickenlooper's desk, and Denver 7 was there as it was sent.
Now, groups are calling for the governor to join the protest against President Trump's decision to get out of the Paris climate deal. And Denver 7 reporter Eric Lufer is just outside the Capitol right there where a news conference is being held. Eric.
Hey, good morning to both of you. Environmentalists and social justice leaders just came outside. They've been inside the governor's office for more than an hour now, where they sent that petition to the governor, and now they're about to hold that news conference to detail what happened inside. Take a look at this video. We were just outside the governor's office when a small group went in. Their request that Governor Hickenlooper joins 12 other state governors in an alliance to uphold the Paris Climate Agreement, going against President Trump's decision to get out.
We think that climate change is the most pressing issue that we have to deal with right now. And so we're going to go in there, we're going to ask them to sign on to the U.S. Climate Alliance. But we know that that's just a symbol. We know that we need to take bigger steps than just signing on to the Climate Alliance. So we're going to ask them how we can work with the governor's office to help make that happen.
So this news conference set to start any minute now with this group outside on the West Steps. Let's talk about city mayors for just a second. You can put Denver on the list of other cities that have already taken part in this alliance. A couple other cities, Boulder, Fort Collins, Telluride, just to name a few. I'll talk about some more city mayors that have also taken part coming up at 11:30. We'll also be here for the news conference set to begin very shortly. I'm Eric Lufer, Denver 7.
Police are looking for the man accused of killing an 18-year-old girl at a motel over the weekend. Police found Allie Raber's body in an Aurora motel on Sunday. Here's a picture of her right here. It's believed that she and the suspect, who is right here, Arturo Garcia, used to date. But she filed a restraining order against him. Her family says the suspect kidnapped her and tried to choke her just months earlier.
Longmont police are investigating the 8th case of arson in just a week. Last week, 6 people along Atwood Street woke up to find their cars torched, and now 2 more cars have been found burned out. Police think these are also connected to the ones from last week, but they have not made any arrests yet. A nearly 5-hour standoff came to a peaceful end finally this morning in southwest Denver. Denver police say a woman fired shots into a neighbor's home after some kind of argument last night and then refused to come out of her home on Dale Court. 3 suspects eventually surrendered.
1 person is dead and at least 5 others are hurt after a car, you see it right here, it plowed into a crowd in Salt Lake City. Police say that driver hit at least 6 people and then got out of the car and ran off. They're still looking for her this afternoon. One witness said the woman was on her phone and pedestrians had yelled at her to pay attention to the road just seconds before she crashed. Breaking overnight, a New York City police officer has died after a shooting early this morning. Here's a look at that scene right there. Officials say the female cop was shot in the head in an unprovoked attack. The officer was a 12-year vet with the NPD. Authorities say the suspect, Alexander Bonds, randomly fired into that officer's vehicle. The suspect took off from the scene and pulled out a revolver when confronted by police. The officers fired at Bonds and he died shortly after that. Police say a bystander was also hit by a bullet.
President Trump is heading overseas for his 2nd foreign tour as president. First stop is Poland, then on to Germany for the G20 summit and the highly anticipated first face-to-face meeting with Vladimir Putin. ABC's Maggie Rulli is in Washington with a look.
President Trump appears hopeful ahead of an overseas trip that promises to challenge his diplomatic skills on an international stage. On Friday, he has his first face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I would love to be able to get along with Russia. Now, you've had a lot of presidents that haven't taken that tack, but it's possible I won't be able to get along with Putin.
The president's relationship with Russia's authoritarian leader is complicated.
There's Vladimir Putin. Have you ever met the guy?
He's a tough guy. I met him once. I have no relationship with Putin. I don't think I've ever met him.
Putin even sent me a present, beautiful present with a beautiful note.
I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him.
Anticipation for the high-powered meeting is amplified with growing tensions between the 2 superpowers. There's the multiple ongoing investigations into Russia's meddling with the presidential election, something the U.S. intelligence community believes Putin ordered directly, and something President Trump has consistently cast doubt on.
The idea that Donald Trump would show up in a meeting with Vladimir Putin and not say something about the election would be astounding.
And Syria. The U.S. government and Russia are on opposing sides in Syria's civil war, with the U.S. supporting the rebels and Russia backing President Assad, who's accused of using chemical weapons against his own people. The White House insists the president won't go easy on Putin, but they've also downplayed the meeting as a normal bilateral discussion.
I also think they don't know what their president is going to do.
Right now, it appears unlikely that President Trump will actually confront Putin about election meddling, with one senior White House official telling ABC News that it could be a waste of time, even calling it, quote, a loser of a topic. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
The U.S. and South Korea say they want to send a big warning to Kim Jong-un one day after his latest missile test. They conducted this joint military drill today to showcase their ability to strike back at Pyongyang in case of an emergency. North Korea claims it tested a nuclear-capable ballistic missile yesterday that could possibly hit the U.S. mainland. Now, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says it's a new escalation of a threat against the U.S., its allies, and the world.
Meanwhile, our Republican Senator Cory Gardner is calling for a worldwide embargo against North Korea. He's hoping China will ramp up diplomatic pressure. Senator Gardner also says that anyone who does business with North Korea should be banned from doing business with the U.S.
Supreme Court Justice and former Colorado Court of Appeals Judge Neil Gorsuch was in Niwot yesterday for their 4th of July parade. You can see Gorsuch riding in this red convertible right here. He posed for a lot of pictures out there. The Grand Marshal of that parade says she was honored to have Justice Gorsuch in town.
He told me that I was the celebrity today. He was honored to meet me, which was very kind, but honestly, he's the real celebrity here, and so it's a pleasure to have him here in our town.
Gorsuch is the second Coloradan to be confirmed to the Supreme Court after Justice Byron White.
A fiery explosion after a man rams his car full of propane tanks into an apartment.
What police are saying caused this man to snap and target a group of people.
Plus, a discovery on a sidewalk outside a cemetery. Pretty bizarre what was found in a casket that has investigated.